Good afternoon, everyone. We are back with our final segment. As we started this afternoon, we opened up with Carissa Bolden from Catch the Wave of Hope. And she was talking about human trafficking and catching cues in the treatment room. This is something that is going on in the spa industry all over the world, human trafficking and sex trafficking. And we have the incredible, amazing Stephanie Ray. She's an esthetician. She is a spa owner of Brilliant Bodywork in Wisconsin. And she's going to be sharing what impassioned her and why she started a foundation, a charitable organization. So we hope that today has been beneficial with information, with knowledge, with experience from all of our speakers. And you didn't have to buy a ticket. You didn't have to get a hotel room. You didn't have to go fly anywhere. It came straight direct to you in your home while you're in your pajamas, drinking your coffee or your mimosa, as some people have told us. So if you would open up your heart and donate today to either Catch the Wave of Hope or Restorative Inc. They are two organizations, incredible, what they're doing in their community. They've been vetted and your dollars are safe with them. Then any of your donations does not go to NASNPRO. It goes directly to the efforts that they are doing in both of their communities. If you are a massage therapist, esthetician, makeup artist in the beauty world, guess what? You do need to listen to both of these presentations because they are powerful and you're going to learn something that why they're being branded. Why are sex slaves and those that are being trafficked, why are they being branded? What can you do? Should you call the police? So stay involved. Get your pen and pad ready because we're going to bring on Stephanie Ray to discuss this very important information that we all need to learn from. So Stephanie and Adam, actually I see Adam is there also. So thank you both for being live on NASNPRO today and sharing the efforts that you are doing in Wisconsin. So take it away.
Thank you very much for having us, Denise. This is an amazing opportunity for not only us, but for NASNPRO, for Restorative Inc. really get the word out about how we as beauty professionals can actually keep an eye out for signs of human trafficking within our own facility, but also how we can help those victims as well. So again, my name is Stephanie Ray. I'm actually a licensed esthetician and a certified laser technician as well. And my wonderful husband, who likes to call himself my plus one,
yes,
was equally as important to this whole process. It's so important in our profession to have somebody that has your back at all times. And this is my backer. He's amazing. So we wanted to actually start off by showing you guys a video that tells a little bit about Restorative Inc. and how we help out. And then we'll go into a little bit of information on how you guys can help out as well in your own facility. So bear with me. I am technology challenged, I guess. And Adam's here as my backup. We'll get it, guys. All right, so thank you guys for definitely hanging with us, watching that video. Obviously, you can see Restorative Inc. is very close to our heart, and human trafficking has really become such a huge issue, not only in our country, but in our entire world as well. And we like to say human trafficking because it's not always about sex trafficking. There's other forms of human trafficking as well. And our mission is to help survivors of both human trafficking and domestic violence survivors. So it's kind of a twofold there. I know you guys have heard some of these statistics, so we'll just run through them really quick today. We know that 20 to 40 million people are considered victims of modern slavery, otherwise known as human trafficking. And that ranges so much because there's a lot of cases that actually go completely under the radar. They go unreported. So it's really hard to give an accurate count on that. It's estimated 300,000 Americans become victims of human trafficking every year. Every state in the U.S. has reported cases of human trafficking each year. And we've heard this information already today. The Polaris Foundation is really good about getting this information. The highest reports are in Texas, Florida, New York, and California. And we know that human trafficking is about money. It's a $150 billion a year business globally. Keyword is that business. It's very money driven. Women and girls are affected more by human trafficking. We know that. It's accounting for 71% of all victims that are reported. And the average targeted age for victims of trafficking is 11 to 14 years old. Really important information, particularly when our children are getting devices younger and younger and younger, and they can be targeted on so many apps and so many platforms at such a young age. And most often victims are actually housed in small rural towns, not the large cities that we'd think of. And that's basically to avoid attention to the situation. What we do as Restorative Inc. is we focus on healing the branding, which in fact helps to heal the emotional state after the trafficking or the domestic violence. And many people don't understand what branding is. Maybe we haven't heard of it. I know when we first got educated on human trafficking, we didn't fully understand either what a brand was. We think of branding cattle, not humans. But branding is a tattoo or a carving on a victim that indicates ownership by a trafficker, a pimp, a gang, a John, whatever you prefer to call them. These markings are normally in high visible places on the victim, but they can actually be quite tricky too. As we heard earlier today in that last presentation about trafficking, it can actually be on the inside of the lip. And again, it's a control strategy. Those brands, particularly on the inside of the lip, it's easier to convince somebody to get because they're told it will easily diminish within a couple years, and it's hidden. But it's a common place for trafficking tattoos as well. Those typical brands often include crowns, barcodes, dollar signs, or the name of the person claiming ownership over the victim. So those are some things that you can definitely look out for in your own treatment room when you have somebody that comes in. Facts about branding. Branding tattoos, again, are used to show ownership and works as a psychological reminder of the victim's subservience to their abuser or trafficker. The tattoos oftentimes can cause shame, trauma, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and it can be used actually as a weapon of domestic violence and is showing that control or that ownership. So if you can imagine being that person and making it out of that situation and having that brand or that tattoo that you see every day for the rest of your life, you can just be empathetic to that cause of what that would feel like, knowing that at one time you were in that place and somebody actually owned you per se because of trafficking. Why did I get involved? You know, this is a really hard one for me to talk about, but I was a very young esthetician back in 2008. I worked alone most of the time in just this teeny tiny little office suite. And I would work, long hours.
Very long hours.
Late hours, you guys. Very bad decision on my part, but I didn't know any better. And I was completely oblivious to trafficking, let alone how to spot a potential victim, and not knowing what to do if I did come across somebody. So it was one evening, this gentleman had called and said, I'd love to schedule a Brazilian wax for my girlfriend. Key number one, a man calling for a female's appointment. And I said, absolutely, let's get you in. He escorted her in, you guys. This is already feeling a little scary to me, being a single person in my treatment suite, working alone. I had actually notified at that time my landlord who was working. I'm going to leave my main door to my lobby open. Her office was right across, so we could hear anything if it went wrong. He insisted on being in the room. I don't allow that. Even then, I didn't allow that. I definitely don't allow it now, but there is another key. And this young woman would not look at me. She was fearful, eyes down, appeared to be under the influence of something, and was not allowed to be alone in my presence in his eyes, but we did not allow that. When they left, they paid in cash. No rebook, nothing. So there was a lot going on there. And after that, I had called my Mr. Wonderful over here and told him of the situation, and we decided to look into it a little bit more. And I was mortified to find that quite potentially this was a human trafficking issue. So from that point on, we dedicated ourselves to being educated and educating others and being on the lookout, because we might be that one point that can actually assist somebody with getting help and getting out. So that's really why we dedicated time and talents to help remove those emotional and physical scars that are left behind by survivors, but also keeping a watchful eye that we can be those protectors and maybe that one person that gets them the help that they so desperately need to heal from the life that they're in right now. So going into what is Restorative Inc? I am so proud of Restorative Inc. This has been a little dream of mine, I think for about 6 years.
Yep, probably.
And Restorative Inc. is a 501c3 nonprofit. We actually offer, like I said, survivors of not only human trafficking, but domestic violence as well. Very common to have branding and domestic violence. Free tattoo removal that were forcibly placed upon their body that show ownership. The removal of branding tattoos is so much more than tattoo removal. It offers that person actually a second chance, a clean slate, the opportunity to continue the healing process and to take control over their life once again. It's a gateway actually for survivors to regain their identities. So often when survivors actually come to us for their initial appointment, they're scared and they're nervous. And quite honestly, they seem a little bit embarrassed as well of the entire situation. It's very humbling to be in our industry and be that small little part of their healing as they grow more comfortable and confident with each and every treatment. And the survivors' faces, once we've started eliminating those tattoos, says more than a million words ever could. You can actually see the burden and the shame lifting, their eyes lighten up and fill with hope. And there's finally that relief that not only is that abuser physically gone, but starting to mentally diminish, and they're able to heal as well. And we don't charge for our services. Not one penny will we ever take from a survivor. But what we do ask is once they find the restored hope and well-being, we do ask them to pay it forward. And that can be in simple acts such as helping to stock a food shelf or helping at a local women's shelter. Anything simple along those lines that they can go ahead and continue to go ahead and pay it forward through life and regain their own self-confidence and self-identity by donation grants at this time. What can you do to help? Just like I was completely naive in 2008 to the situation, we work in such a small town. Onalaska, Wisconsin is where our spa is located. I think we have about 40,000 people maximum in Onalaska. So it's not that large when you think about it. It's not Minneapolis or San Francisco by any means.
Nice small rural community.
You wouldn't being sexually exploited or maybe a victim of trafficking or domestic violence, my friends, report your suspicions to law enforcement. You can call 911. They are there for you. They want to hear these concerns. They can definitely investigate it locally quite quickly, or call the National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline. We provided the number on this slide as well. Or you can even text Be Free or Help to the number 233 733. It's really important to maybe even have little tiny slips of paper with this information on it, because you might be the only contact that they have. And having those little intimate moments in your treatment room when you're doing a waxing or some type of service on them, you can hand them the tiniest piece of paper. They might be able to conceal it and get the help they need. Also, one thing that we are helping to implement is getting those numbers in more visible locations as well, and we'll go into that. Be educated. Help raise awareness to other spa professionals. I think NASNPRO is doing a great job this weekend with opening a very difficult subject, a very hard conversation starter that a lot of us don't like to think about. We don't want to think about these gals and guys, it can happen to men as well, could be coming right through our spa as part of the grooming process of human trafficking, being promised services that maybe otherwise they wouldn't be able to get done, like facials and waxings and nails and hairstyles that maybe they never thought they could pull off. It's part of the grooming process. So by opening this communication up, I'm hoping you can go back to others in your spa or hair salon and actually talk to one another about this is something we should be aware about. So education and awareness is key to helping actually break this cycle. Times have changed, and understanding that social media has become a major platform for trafficking. Social media has a complete dark side, and I know Mr. Stevens is not a fan of most social media platforms. It's good and it's bad, but it's made it increasingly easy for traffickers to lure victims throughout our nation and our world with insincere promises and relationships. As our use of technology increases, so will its use for trafficking and dark purposes. Encourage your local schools, PTA groups, and religious organizations to include educational programs about sex trafficking and the dangers of social media and the signs to watch out for. You need to remember that the target age for trafficking victims is 11 to 14 years old, and sometimes it starts even younger than that. So one of the keys is getting into the schools, and I believe Florida actually has mandated that that is part of their public school program. So I encourage all of you to help make that a reality in your state as well, that it is a requirement within the public school program. Because by teaching these children early on that they too could be targeted, and teaching them how to be smart about their interactions on social media, and as parents and guardians and grandparents and auntie and uncles that might be a little overprotective.
Yeah.
As we're just at an event this afternoon seeing children unattended. You guys, we can make a difference. One at a time, we can protect our children and our country from these acts. How do you get involved? So just like we got involved, it starts with passion, right? Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Passion and a good sidekick to help make it happen.
Most definitely, yes.
So definitely volunteer and support anti-trafficking efforts in your community. Search for organizations in your area that are assisting victims of trafficking and get involved. Ask them, how can I best help serve you? How can I best get your mission out to others and get everyone aware of what they can do? And once you kind of get that butterfly effect, we're going to keep growing and getting that education out there and making it more come out into the light. If there's not an organization near you, start one. Sounds easy, right? There's only a 6-year process for us, but you can bet we're active the whole time.
A lot of funding.
A lot of funding, you guys. A lot of perfecting how to fill out a 501c nonprofit application. But there's tons of people out there that will help you. Adam and myself would love to be a resource for you to get something started in your own neighborhood, in your own state. However we can help, let us know. Know who in your community is at the highest risk of being a victim and help them find programs that can assist with their unique situations. The more active your community is, the harder it is for traffickers to blend in with everyone else. Amazing thought process. Get involved in your community. Support efforts outside your community that educate and assist victims of sex trafficking. Most organizations that work to victims of sex trafficking and human trafficking are supported by donations from people like yourself. And those donations go a long way. In our instance, your donation helps to actually remove those branding tattoos off of our survivors. Recruit your local businesses. This has actually been huge for Adam and I. We're actually working with one of our biggest gas station chains in the Midwest. So they're not quite national. I think they're going to get there quick. But work with those local businesses, your gas stations, your restaurants, to post those resources in restroom stalls about how to get help. And the telephone numbers to the National Human Trafficking Resource Center. These sites are readily available off not only their website, but Polaris's website as well. I know, I'm losing my ability to talk. I get too excited.
And just keep in mind as well, guys, that, oftentimes if you can get these signs into restaurants, gas stations, specifically in the bathrooms, that might be the only time that one of these victims has a couple minutes alone away from somebody else where they can jot down a phone number or send a text message out, and it only takes 30 seconds.
It's a small gesture, but it can be a life-saving gesture, just to put up a paper sign in a restroom. You've seen them. They maybe have the little tear-off sheets of paper. They can hide it in their sock, is what I heard earlier today. I think that's genius. Or even memorize it, but that could be their way out. So very important that you petition those local businesses, restaurants, gas stations, salons, spas, nail salons, you name it, anywhere that a trafficker, a John, may be taking somebody to kind of groom them, to get them a bite to eat, to get them kind of dressed up, think about getting their hair done, their nails done, something to kind of groom them into trusting them. Those are the spots that you want to have that information in that private restroom to help. And maybe even putting a code word on there. I noticed a few of our local bars actually have a code word in case you feel you're endangered. You can go right up to the bartender and say you want a pineapple mojito upside down or something, and they'll actually call for help for you. So there's a lot of unique things out there in many industries that we could be helping one another out with the trafficking issues. Help to spot victims in your business. Now, I know we went over a lot of these already today, but it never hurts to repeat information. If you're unsure what to keep an eye out for, here's a few signs that can help you to potentially identify victims of trafficking. So the client's always accompanied by a more dominant individual. It doesn't have to be a man. It can be a woman as well, you guys. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. The client is unable or unwilling to provide a phone number, email address, or a street address, or even a full or real name. The client cannot provide any form of identification. That's often kept from them. So keep that in mind. The client is not allowed to speak for themselves. There will be someone there that speaks for them, or making their appointments for that matter. The client appears to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Reason for this is quite simple. It keeps them subdued. It keeps them kind of under, under the wrath of that person. It's under control. So keep that in mind as well. In the instance of the gal in my treatment room, she was under the influence of something and could not speak for herself. You could definitely tell there was something not right. And had I been more educated at the time, I think we could have made a bigger difference in that situation. The client does not interact with you during services, or you only get single word responses. Very important to watch for that as well. The client is spoken to in a demeaning or threatening manner by that accompanied individual. Again, something very easy that we can watch for, and that would instantly sink, I think, any of our industry pros' hearts if we were to hear it. The company individual insists on being in the treatment room, and the client acts withdrawn, uneasy, or afraid. The client has tattoos or brands showing ownership, names, symbols, etc., like we talked about, in those high visible areas. And the client shows signs of poor hygiene, malnourishment, or fatigue. That would be further along in the trafficking journey that they're on, unfortunately. Services are typically paid for with cash only, again, not leaving a paper trail. And visible bruising can be actually very apparent on that client as well, indicating abuse. So I'm praying this information sets you guys on a path to be ready to keep an eye out and be vigilant and help out one another. That if you see somebody that seems in distress or that may be a victim, you can help them seek resources. Obviously, don't put yourself in the realm of danger, but knowing where to go for help or who to contact goes just a huge way. Restorative Inc.'s mission is to assist those survivors of domestic violence and sex trafficking through the removal of tattooing or physical branding by helping to heal the past emotional and physical wounds that were left behind due to each person's unique experiences. The goal is to assist victims in regaining their personal identities. And if you guys want to find out more about Restorative Inc., or you know somebody that is in need of that tattoo removal or wish to help, please visit us. We are on Facebook at Restorative Inc. is the handle. Restorativeinc.com is actually our website. Our wonderful web provider is actually developing that site as we speak.
Most definitely.
Or you can give us a call at that number that's provided at the bottom of your screen. And like I said, if you want to get something going in your own area, we are all about that. So definitely let us help you. And I wanted to go over why I love NASNPRO. So
go for it.
Well, you have reasons too, but his is monetary, you guys. Well, one of them. You love Denise too.
I love the discount.
He loves the discounts. So I love my NASNPRO because they really helped me to launch my career to the next level. Denise has given me such confidence in myself that had I been told even 6 years ago that I would be out as nationally as I am, I wouldn't have believed it. But Denise helped me to gain that confidence, that footing beneath me. I love that support is literally a phone call away, and Denise and her team are willing to offer heartfelt and professional advice no matter what, and many times at whatever hour. Sorry, Denise, if you didn't want that information out there, but I love you. I love the networking opportunities and being able to connect with so many other industry professionals. It has been amazing, and 2020 has been a rough year on all of us, and the number one thing that I crave the most right now is...
Well, you need people in your personal interaction.
Yeah, I miss my pro friends. I miss our trade shows. So doing this virtual event has been amazing for my heart and spirit. I love the educational opportunities that are offered, the tremendous amount of topics that are covered. Look at this weekend. You guys, this is an amazing opportunity. And I love, and Adam loves, the discounts from so many vendors and sponsors, from the travel discounts, which we'll be taking advantage of later this month, to savings on our paper copies, which Adam loves.
Oh, yeah.
The 80% off at Office Max.
Oh, yeah, that is a lifesaver.
Whichever one I don't go, I make him go. And I love NASNPRO most of all because they support estheticians and beauty professionals like you and me. And there's no other organization like it that it's a free membership and offers so many amazing benefits. So I wanted to thank you guys for definitely joining us. I've put up my information to reach me directly, obviously, Stephanie at brilliantbodywork.com, therestorativeinc.com, and on Facebook, as well as our phone numbers. So you guys can reach out if you have any questions, concerns, or you want help setting up something in your own town, city, or state. Adam and I have all the time in the world, and we'd love to help.
Yeah.
Well,
even if we're nothing more than a resource for people, we're always out there and always willing to lend a hand.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. I was already tearing up with the presentation. Then you guys started talking about I love NASNPRO. I was like, great. I'm glad you love the organization. Then you started talking about myself. And Stephanie, you know that my heart is with the estheticians, and my family is not a stranger to tragedy. And there's just something about who and what we are. We're empaths, we're estheticians, we love to touch, we love to heal. And that is so important, especially in 2020. And I think that's why you and I connect so well, is because, we have a lot of the same philosophies and beliefs, but at the end of the day, what we do is truly from the heart. It's not out of our pocketbook. We're not trying to do a champagne or a caviar event. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I want to make a difference in the world. I want to impact people, not just externally on their face, but internally. Instill confidence, have people be successful. And 6 years ago when I saw you, I saw the beautiful, empowered woman that you were going to be. You didn't have it then, but yet you did. And I saw that in you. And I'm just so glad you continued your path with the brilliant partner that you have, Adam, because I know he is your biggest cheerleader. And just keep going. You have a great foundation. You have a great business, and the beauty that you touch every day makes a difference. So keep that in mind, Stephanie. And also, Adam, keep going. We love what you're doing at Restorative Inc. Thank you to each and every person that is watching. Again, open up your hearts. I hope you donate. This is what we've been doing for the last 2 days. Oh, wait, I almost think we're 2 days into it. We've been doing so much practicing, but yes. This 2-day event, it is free. It is impactful education, and it's also to assist in what you and also Catch the Wave of Hope is doing. I mean, you guys are on 2 different states, but the information has been incredible. So I hope people are taking notes and go and donate to what you guys are doing. It's making a difference.
Thank you so much, Denise. You and NASNPRO means so much to Adam and I. Just always being there for us, no matter what.
Yeah, any time of the day.
You're not supposed to call me out on my cry.
Yep.
Shh, don't tell anybody that. I can be reached at 3 a.m. via Facebook private message. But that's what we are. We're here to help the esthetician, the spa owner, beauty professional, makeup artist, cosmetologist, wellness provider. We love each and every one of you. We are so grateful that you are here today, and that each and every expert and speaker that has joined us, the sponsors that have assisted us in making this possible. You are what makes NASNPRO and the Spa Hive community. We wouldn't be here without you. So we love you. Have a great evening. We will see you tomorrow morning, October 5th at 8:30 a.m.